Okay, cool. All right. Well, hey everyone. This is our weekly team huddle, and it is Sunday, September 10th, 2017. Holy buckets. Can we imagine? Can you guys believe it's September already? I'm like, wow, we are already kicking off the fourth quarter, but it's an exciting time. And I'm excited for tonight's call because tonight really, sometimes the calls are motivational. Next week's actually, I think we're going to have a guest speaker. You guys are definitely going to want to be on and hear her story. So, sometimes we have motivation. Sometimes, last week with Deanna, she was casting vision and, kind of like beginning of the month, this is, the basic things that you want to be implementing. And tonight, what I want to do is this is kind of a nuts and bolts training. And, like the topic said, we're going to, I'm going to talk about tonight, growing your market in order to grow your business. Because what I feel like I've identified or just maybe heard from different consultants, and this is over the years, this isn't like a new thing, but there can be those situations where we feel like we have a limited market, or we don't know who to reach out to next, or we kind of feel like we hit a wall or a fork in the road. And I can tell you from personal experience that I have absolutely felt that place. I have been in that place where it's like, oh, an incentive is thrown out to go book 6 events in 4 days. And you're like, I'd love to, but I don't know who. And I remember that there was a time in my business, and hopefully you guys don't have this same kind of, I think it's a negative attitude. It was a negative attitude I had. And it was kind of this attitude of, I would go do Arbonne if I could get people to say yes. And I kind of had this feeling that I didn't have control over my business, and that I was at the mercy of other people saying yes to me. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like not having the ability to, really control my calendar in the way that I wanted it. And I thought that I really had to wait for other people to, get back to me to be willing to host all of those things. Because I remember at different times feeling like if I just had like appointments, I would totally go and be super successful in this business, and not really realizing that or not being aware, I guess, as much as I am more now of really our part to play in it. So I, was really impacted recently again by this book, GoPro. If you haven't yet read it, I recommend it for all new consultants. For sure, I recommend it for seasoned consultants. It's kind of like a yearly read that I think is very good. It's by Eric Worre. You can follow him on Facebook. He's got great content. But I'm going to read a little snippet because I really want to, just solidify for you tonight that network marketing is better, because we have really entered into a time where, you hear the statistic 1 in 6 households is affiliated with a network marketing company. And that is true. By 2025, which is just 7 short years, it's estimated that 1 in 3 are going to be affiliated. 1 in 3 households are going to be affiliated. Think of that. 1 in 3 in your neighborhood are going to be affiliated with some network marketing company. So why? And here's why. We're living in a new economy, which is a performance-based economy. And every industry, every profession is going to be affected. I have heard this over and over again. And I will be honest, the only one I can't kind of wrap my brain around, and I would like to ask Eric Worre how this is going to play out, is like in the educational world, specifically like elementary school teachers and things like that. And I know that their performance is impacted, their test scores, things like that. But every other profession, it makes sense to me. I know right now nurses, their salaries can get impacted, or bonuses can get impacted on patient surveys. I know that, obviously people in the restaurant world, people in all kinds of profession are getting paid more based on performance than just purely an hourly, schedule. So, this is just a little snippet that I want to read because it is going to kind of position us for talking about how do we grow our market, why that's so important. So the best way I know to not only survive, but thrive in the new economy is network marketing. There are important products and services in the world today that need to be promoted to the people who need them. Consumers still need to be educated. And that's an important thing that we do. And if, there are times I think that we need to be communicating a little bit more thoroughly to people that a large part of what we do in our Arbonne businesses is we do educate people. People leave better. People leave more informed every time they're with an Arbonne consultant because they get more value. So know that you're educating people. More and more companies will continue to choose to use network marketing because it fits the new economy. They can provide all the corporate support and pay distributors on a purely performance basis to promote their products. You know, if you have never engaged in a entrepreneurial endeavor before, maybe never had, you know, close relationship with people who have been business owners, you know, I think in Arbonne, we take a lot of things for granted. We take for granted the fact that somebody has already, one, produced an incredible product. They labeled it, they market it, they produce it, they warehouse it, they, you know, they keep track of the sales, they figure out the delivery method, you know, all of that is already being provided for us, as well as legal support and all of these different things. So you as a consultant can receive all the benefits of traditional business ownership without the typical risks. But here's the catch, and this is what you as a consultant, we as a team need to always be mindful for. If there is this catch when we are sharing Arbonne with people and then for ourselves, because I believe that this catch is what can cause consultants around the 90-day mark to feel like, I don't really know if this is what I should be doing, or I'm just feeling like I'm struggling, or I've run out of people. Okay. And so it's really helpful to understand what this catch is. So he says, this all sounds great, and it is, but there's a catch that most people won't tell you, but here it is. You must accept a temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. It means for a while, people still living and functioning in the old system will think less of you. And you maybe have experienced that, and you maybe at times deal with that yourself, feeling like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed, or I don't feel as professional, or that this is kind of a less than business opportunity. And he says, and actually the word accept isn't completely accurate. You need to do more than that. You need to embrace the temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. But understand that you are seeing the future before it becomes apparent to everyone else. You are the smart one. You are the person taking action to live a better life. And the more that I've listened to this book on tape over the last month, the more really I've just felt empowered by the fact that we are seeing this before it becomes even more common, because we're still really on the forefront of this becoming normal or being normal. But you all, it's moving to being a very normal, a very acceptable way to not only have income, but to be a professional. And so just know that, and know that you are on the forefront of that. There's reasons why people are going to think less of you, but primarily he says it's because people have joined a company, or they know somebody that has, and because they didn't do it well, they thought that this was more of a lottery ticket, like, hey, I'm just going to ask the first 5 or 6 people that are going to come to mind to join me. And when they don't, they think like, oh, this thing doesn't work. And so you have to be able to accept, the opinions of ignorant people who think they've done it right and it still doesn't work. But that's not true. If that's going to be too hard to handle, he says, then network marketing isn't for you. But if you can embrace it, and this is what I love, the world is yours. The people who embrace this idea that, you know what, for a little bit, ignorant people are going to probably give me heck about this. Ignorant people might think I'm a little bit stupid. Ignorant people might be like, oh, this is so less than. If you can embrace that, this profession pays you big money. Companies will pay unlimited amounts to people who will do 3 things: who can help blind people see, so see what is not yet there. So that's a big skill. Who can educate the ignorant. That's a lot about what we do. And they're not ignorant because they're not intelligent. They're ignorant because no one has been telling them, like we have for almost 40 years, they need to read their labels. They need to know how products work on the body. They need to know how these things impact the system. We're the ones telling them this is a legitimate way you can build a business and have a career in a profession. It's just different. Okay. And also who can build a community of like-minded people. As you are building your business and you are building your team, in essence, what you're doing is you're building a community of like-minded people who are willing to work different, in order to earn different, have different, so they can give different, live more on purpose. That's when you do that, when we do those things, which is help blind people see, educate the ignorant, and build a community of like-minded people, you'll be able to get paid beyond what you probably ever would imagine in a business like this. Those are what we're looking to do. Okay. So again, endorsing this book, it's a great one. You can get it on, I think, like the Audible one as well. So what does that, how does that kind of play into growing our market? Growing our market is so important in this business because, and if you guys haven't listened to that Learn and Burn that I posted of Stephanie Warren from, I think it was the first weekend in August. Yeah, it was the first weekend in August. I listened to it and reposted it. She just talks about how she really works with and partners with new consultants, because for most consultants around day 90, which is month 3, they have really kind of gone through most of their warm market or who they're comfortable with. And they've hit this place of kind of a fork in the road of, okay, I don't know who's next. I don't know what to do next. And so I really want to kind of focus on 2 markets. The first is your warm market. This is the market that you have when you become a new Arbonne consultant. It's a pre-established market that you already have. And then we're going to talk about a cold market or your cool market and how to start building that and really how to maximize your warm market, but then at the same time, how to use and grow a cold market. You really need to be doing both in this business. They're both very important. And you have to understand that you are a business owner and your business is built around people. Okay. So at the very least, this is a business where you have to be with people. You have to get out, and if you're not getting out and being with people, it's going to be really hard to build this business. Okay. So I think that that's just one seemingly like obvious thing, but I think sometimes we can, not even realize how much we get in a tunnel of life. Like, I think most of you kind of have a routine of your day and you kind of like just go through the routine. And most people really live kind of like this. They just kind of live, put their head down. They just kind of go through the motions of work. They chit chat a little bit with coworkers here or there. They're not really looking to be intentional in relationship. They kind of just maybe go do, there's certain things, but they're not really kind of lifting their head to see all the people around them. And this is a business where you need to lift your head, get your face out of your phone, and be aware of who is around you. When I first started in Arbonne, we had something called the 3-foot rule, which meant if somebody was standing within 3 feet of us, they were a prospect. They were somebody we could talk to about Arbonne, whether we were standing in line at the post office, whether we were standing in line at Kroger, whether we were at a kid's ball game, at church, at a baby shower. There was just always opportunity. And I think too many times we get in this tunnel of life, of routine, and we don't actually stop and look up of who is actually available and around us. So I want to start with your warm market. This business is absolutely necessary to have a working contact list. And it has to be on paper, and really it needs to be like handwritten, because I have never seen a consultant successfully work a list that's on a computer in an Excel spreadsheet. And I know for some personalities, it's like, yeah, but that's really efficient. And then I can alphabetize it and then I can organize it and da. I get it, but there's something powerful about having a list that you can actually carry with you in a notebook. So if you don't have a list, and I would recommend getting like a notebook that you can carry in a purse, in a work bag, and just keep with you. It's not fancy. It doesn't have to be anything. But if you're just randomly writing people's names on Post-it notes, you're going to be losing them, and it's not going to create that continuity or that consistency. So you want to have just like a notebook that you have people's names in. And why you want to do this is you want to get everybody like everybody that you can think of on this list. You're not going to contact everybody on this list about your business. So don't worry about it. If you're like, I got some lame cousins who are never going to be checking out Arbonne, it doesn't matter. If there's somebody that you can like think of their name, you just put their name down on the list. If you've got a 95-year-old grandma, obviously you're probably not prospecting her into the business. You might not even be selling her product, but you put her name on the list, because what it does is it frees and it clears space in your mind for new people's names to come in. The other thing that it does is it will start to help you think about, okay, maybe this cousin, just using a cousin as an example, is a bumpkin. And you're like, he's 26 years old. He would never be interested in Arbonne. It would be kind of weird for me to approach him. Maybe that is, but he has a sphere of people. Every person has an average of 250 people that they have some sort of contact or relationship with or connection to. Think of that, you guys. So if you put 100 people on a list times 250, I wish I could do math fast, but I can't. So I'm going to use my calculator. It's what? It's 25,000 people. The potential of 25,000 people. I'm not saying you're making a list of 25,000 people. I'm saying that there's the potential, and this is not a business where you need tens and thousands of people to be successful, but it gets people thinking. So you want to think about that 6 degrees of separation of who do they know and who can they start connecting you to. So then you start adding to the list of like, okay, so I have my friend Kelly from high school. So Kelly's not necessarily interested in Arbonne's products or the business, but Kelly has a mom who lives in North Dakota. Kelly has a sister-in-law who lives in Texas. Kelly has another sister-in-law that lives in Minnesota. Kelly's got a couple of friends I've met a couple different times. And you just start thinking and really kind of maximizing that warm market. Again, it's not necessarily that I'm in a call or reach out to Kelly's sister-in-law, who I don't really know very well in Texas. But again, when it's that whole idea of what we're looking for starts looking for us, we attract what we're looking for, and it really does start to open us up to all the people that really are available to us, okay? There is a great rule of thumb that a professional network marketer, somebody who learns to do this business at a professional level, which is what my goal is for everybody connected to my team, is that every day you would add 2 new names to this list. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is between now and next Sunday is practice the habit and the discipline of adding 2 new names to your list every day. These, again, are not 2 new names that you are going to call that moment and ask for a 20-minute overview or ask if you can come sample products for them. But you're going to be meeting people when you're looking for people. You're going to be meeting people. You might run into 1 or 2 new people tomorrow, or somebody might come to mind. And just getting in that habitual habit, that discipline of adding 2 people to your name, to your list, what it's going to do is it's going to really just start making you aware of who you have, around you. And there's this book called, I think it's in this GoPro book, but it's called, sorry. I thought it was, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And it's just about, having this pool of people, of contacts that are available to you before you're like, oh, I need to find somebody that I can tell Arbonne to. The other thing is as you add people to this list, think of creative ways to stay in contact with them. It doesn't have to be daily. Don't freak out. You don't have to be their new best friend. You don't have to invite them to your birthday parties. It's just a way to just, it can be a quarterly touch. It could be a yearly touch. Add them to the Christmas card list. It could just be, connecting up with them on LinkedIn or Twitter or things like that. Follow them on Instagram. Just think of creative ways to build your network on a consistent basis by simply adding 2 people to your list every day. Okay. And then the third thing within the warm market is I want you to network on purpose. Okay. What does that mean? That means that you become friendly, and you might need to become friendlier than you are. And you also might need to be willing to go engage in social activities or in things that you might not normally be inclined to do, because it's going to put you out into the market. Okay. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you get invited to a jewelry party and you're like, I have no interest in buying jewelry, you just go because you're going to meet some new people in a natural, warm market environment, because more than likely whoever invited you, they didn't just invite the 4 other friends that you have. Okay. They are inviting you, and you're going to potentially meet some other people. Same thing when, like if your church has a church picnic, or you get invited to a coworker's baby shower, and you're kind of, it's easy to kind of roll the eyes and be like, oh, I don't want to go to another kid's birthday party, or somebody at church's baby shower, or whatever it is. But you never know who you're going to meet, because many times it's not necessarily the people at those events that that you're going to be looking to network with, but it's, hey, they've got a cousin that's in from Virginia. They came for the baby shower. And, you're not weird. Again, you're not doing this in a weird or not normal way, but you're just being social. You're being friendly. You're opening yourself up to say, what I'm looking for is looking for me. But sitting at home is not helping you grow your business. Going to work, keeping your head down, getting in your car, getting home, vegging out with your family, that doesn't build your network. Okay. So these are some ways that you can maximize your warm market. These are the people that you already know. Okay. So now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about growing your cold market. Your cold market is people you don't know yet, or people you don't have natural relationships with. So again, this is where you're going to network on purpose. You're going to, you are a business owner. You do want to have the mindset that if you were an entrepreneur, if you were a real estate agent, if you had any sort of business with a good or a service, you wouldn't sit and wait for someone to come to you. And if you did, you would not be successful, and you would not grow this business. So you've heard phrases like hitting the pavement, knocking on doors, going door to door. We don't have to per se do those things in my business. I have never gone door to door and knocked on a door and been like, hey, I'm the Arbonne lady. I've never done that. But do you guys know what I have done in my 10 plus years? I've gone to the mall with 3 business cards, and I don't come home until they're gone. Not because I think that that's the most effective way to grow my market, but because when I first started this business, I had set work hours. And if I didn't have a party or a coffee appointment, I did not allow myself to sit in my house. I made myself go out. I made myself go hone a skill of engaging with people, starting conversations, offering a compliment, dialoguing with people. So many times I hear people all the time say, Missy, you just talk so well, and everything just flows, and you can just say it and ramble it. It's because I've practiced thousands of hours. I have practiced, and I wasn't always good at it, but I would go to the mall with 3 business cards, and I wouldn't come home until they were gone. Ideally, I would have contact information for that person, a name and a phone number. But even if I didn't, I just knew I was sewing into my business, and I was honing this skill, and I was getting my name out into the community of Missy Hyde's Arbonne Consultant. Okay. I've also done things like standing in school gymnasiums and community centers with an Arbonne table, feeling like, oh my gosh, I am spending 9 hours standing on my feet behind an Arbonne table, smiling, kind of feeling like this is lame. Do I think that's the most effective way, again, to build your market? No, it's not the most effective, but it is effective. It gets your name out there. And even if you make one connection, that can lead you to a whole slew of people. Example, right now it's the holiday time. Everywhere is having bazaars and expos and holiday things. Find them, sign up for them, go do them. They're not necessarily replacing the system that we have, but they are part of getting out in the community. Don't spend a lot of money on these things. Like, don't sign up for one that's going to cost you $200-$300. That's not smart. But if it's really somewhere around like $25, $50, maybe $75, you can partner up with another consultant, and again, it's not that you're going to go there and you're going to have all these big sales, but what it's going to do is it's going to, again, put you out there. You've got to meet people. You've got to be warm and welcoming. So when people are walking by the table, they're not like, oh gosh, like stop making eye contact with her because she's so over the top. There's a lot of ways to maximize those events. One of the things that I love to do is not only be really friendly with the people that are walking by and do a giveaway so I can collect names and phone numbers, but I go to all the other booths because they're sitting there all day as well. And most of the time they haven't heard of Arbonne, and what we have, they don't have. And what we have, everybody can use. I don't care if they're selling all kinds of other products. They still need what we have. So you network with them. I did an event last November, met a super great gal in another network marketing company. From meeting her just in this year, it's led me to 7 parties and almost 20 preferred clients from doing one event. And there was no sale at that event. It was just a connection. It was just building and networking out in that way. So you do have to be willing to kind of pound the pavement. So you want to network on purpose. You want to get involved. You want to get connected. You want to always have a business mindset of, I'm the business owner. I'm my best advertisement. I want to be adding 2 people to this list every day. If I don't have people to call, or the people that I'm calling and texting are not getting back to me, and I don't have any activities on my calendar, you pack up a little bag of products, leave it in your car, put it in your purse, and you go out and you meet some people, and you go be friendly. You go practice in the mall. And here's some other ideas that I'm going to give you guys. When I first started my business, I joined networking groups. Okay. They're effective. Again, are they the most effective? No, this is a culmination of lots of different things. I gave somebody the analogy the other day that in business, you don't just take your ball and like throw one ball to somebody and then just wait like, I hope they get back to me. I hope they throw the ball back to me. I'm waiting. Because if you're only throwing balls and sending the texting and the emails or the calling and you're not getting anything and no one's throwing you a ball back, you got to start throwing a ball in another court. The other court is join a networking group, join a Bible study, join a workout group, start throwing some balls there. You got to just do multiple things until you start getting the responses that you're looking for. If your calendar does not look like what you want it to, you just decide to go fill it up. And I will tell you guys, for many years in my business, I was paralyzed with the lie that I did not have control to go fill up my calendar because I couldn't make somebody say yes to me. I couldn't make people say yes to me, but I could have gone and asked more people in a short amount of time. But that was a lie that I believed, and I justified it and I excused it, and it didn't serve me. Okay. So I wanted to help you guys not waste the amount of time that I did in my business. So networking groups, again, don't pay a lot of money for them, but your work might have a networking group that they want you to go to for work. Go there for your work and then naturally network your Arbonne business, build relationship, be normal. You guys hear me say this all the time. Be normal, don't be weird, and be fun. People want to be around normal, not weird, fun people. Okay. There might be lunch ones. There might be early morning before work ones. There can be once a month ones, once a week ones. And if you go and you're like, oh, that was a weird kind of group of people, wasn't the best vibe. I mean, I've been in good networking groups. I've been in bad networking groups. I've never to very minimally, all I think I ever paid was like a lunch. I never signed up for the ones where you have to pay like dues and $600 a year, anything weird like that. But networking groups are a great one. You have ways to get involved. And again, it's using wisdom and using your time efficiently. But if you're somebody and all you do is work out at home, maybe go join a once a week workout group. I heard at the impact training, I think it was Beth Loma. She, I think, works out at she's an ENVP, but still she works out at like 2 or 3 gyms, because she works out at one on a Monday and then different on a Wednesday and different on a Friday. Cause she's like, it just keeps building my market. I'm going to be working out anyways. Why not just keep naturally working and expanding that market? Join a Bible study, take your kids to story time at a library. Lots of different things. And again, I don't join Bible study to network my business. I do join a Bible study because I want to study the Bible, but it's just getting me naturally in relationship with people. And when people say, oh, what do you do? And it comes up, it may or may not right then lead to something, but it can down the road. You just, again, are building it before you need it. Okay. So you can do the expos, the bazaars types, things like that. You can go to places like the mall and these are cold market things. You can think about other people in other professions that are networking and are relational. These are your mortgage, like your loan officers. These are your realtors. These are your beauticians. These are your personal trainers. These are people that they have a clientele base, and you can network with them, and maybe you can share referrals. Hey, I would love to refer 4 people to you that I love how you cut my hair, or I think you've got great personal training services, or I know you're an amazing realtor. I would love to refer 4 people to you. Would you be willing to refer 4 people back to me that I could share Arbonne's products with or reach out to? And make that introduction, okay? You're looking to serve other people. And when you look to serve and sow into other people's businesses, it's just the law of sowing and reaping. It's a principle that you will reap what you sow. So if you're sowing servanthood and how to bless and prosper other people's businesses, you're going to get that return back to you in your business, okay? So networking that way, the networking groups, thinking of the different, ways that you can get involved in your community, joining a gym, doing stuff with your kids, maybe going and volunteering for something that's, that's important to you. Don't go sign up and volunteer for something that you hate, but go and volunteer for something, maybe that you're passionate about. Maybe go, just network with people in that way. Okay. There's also things like you can join your local chamber of commerce. Those are some business professional level things that are out there. Again, I'm just sharing out ideas. If you guys in the comment thread, after when I post this, if you've got other things or ideas, or we can open it up, you guys can be sharing that as too. The other place that you can network is in social media. Okay. And I will say Arbonne has done an excellent job of providing a lot of learn and burns on how to maximize your social media presence, again, in a way that's professional, that's normal, that doesn't annoy or repel people. So take time, like if you go into the source and in the search bar, you type in growing your market and then push search, there are probably a dozen, maybe more, of trainings, learn and burn trainings on, Peyton Mott has one on getting into younger markets. There's another lady, I can't think of her name. She has like how to prospect in a cold market, how to just go out and meet people. I have a EMVP mentor of mine. She lives in one city of Texas, and she drives, she says, once a week to a city that has very little to no Arbonne presence. It's about 90 minutes away. And she just networks on purpose. She goes to the mall. She goes to stores where people are working on commission. She goes to nice restaurants, and she just spends her day networking her Arbonne business in a city that's 90 minutes away from her. You can do that. You're not limited, just to whatever town you live in. You can go network in other places. But the social media training, there's just great ways on how to connect up with people, how to send people private messages, when people like your posts, reaching out to them, offering them information, all of those different types of things, but it's really just a choice to network on purpose. Again, lifting your eyes to see, getting your face out of your phone and being aware of just the people that are around you and who you can be talking to. Because when you look at this business as the gift that it is, when you realize that you, by saying yes to this business, are a visionary, but you are also a pioneer, which means you're doing things that most other people aren't yet doing, but they will be doing. You can just operate with this level of excitement and attraction that really will attract people to you. I absolutely believe that if every day and every night you start saying out loud with your mouth, who I am looking for is looking for me. When you're driving in your car to the grocery store and you say, who I'm looking for is looking for me, I thank you for divine appointments, for running into people, for connecting up with people. You know, I made a connection with a gal in a grocery store, and such a sweet, awesome lady. She actually has her own cool business, this thing that she sews. But anyways, over time it led to, I went over to her house, gave her some samples. She became a preferred client. I think all she bought was an RE9 face wash. But literally, you all, we met at the grocery store. I think we were like looking at gluten-free products or butter or something. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. But it's just when you walk with this expectation and this awareness that there are hundreds of thousands of people around you on any given day, and the only thing that's limiting your market is you, it empowers you to realize, I have so many people available to me. You know, and I think, you know, I've used her story before, but I think it's just good to be reminded, if someone who has a situation and obstacles like Martha Yoder, who is Amish, who lives in a small, very rural community, she cannot drive a car. She doesn't go out and like bebop in social ways. Like, if she can build this business to the regional vice president level in less than 3 years, it's just a decision. It's just always a decision and deciding to do it. Okay. So the last thing that I want to just encourage you all is to vary your market. Okay. You really want to vary your market and your team, diversify it as much as you can, as quickly as you can. Meaning, if I'm a mom, 37, 4 kids, you know, primarily I would be kind of considered a stay-at-home mom. If my whole team only consisted of mid-30 stay-at-home moms, we all kind of then slow down at the same times of the year or in the same ways. Also, you know, you can get wisdom from people that are older than you. You can get wisdom from people that are younger than you. You get different ideas. You get different markets. You get different approaches. So, you know, maybe make it a goal this month or over the next 60 days to go sponsor somebody in a totally different decade than you, older than you, and then younger than you, unless you're the Arkansas group and you guys are all in your 20s. You can't go younger, but you can go older. If you guys go younger, you're sponsoring like 10-year-olds, which we can't. So you guys can go older though, you know, challenge yourself to go sponsor a 50-year-old, go challenge yourself to sponsor a 40-year-old or a 60-year-old. Also diversify in location, not only, or geographically, not only within your state, not only within the US, but also internationally. And you might be thinking, Missy, I don't know anybody internationally. That's okay. What you're going to do is you're going to declare and you're going to start writing as a goal what you're looking for. And I believe what you're looking for will start looking for you. So when you say, I want to have an international business partner by the end of 2017, I believe for any of you that do that now, you will have it if you are intentional about it, because what you'll realize is that who you know might know somebody who knows somebody in another country, and they're willing to connect it up. And if at every party you're using on the card where it says we're in these 7 countries and I'm always looking for referrals, somebody will say, oh, I have a cousin who lives in Canada, or oh my gosh, my mom used to live in UK when she was going to school, or oh, I've got a friend from college who moved to New Zealand. those things will come up, you guys. We're not in these really obscure countries. So look to diversify your market so that you can diversify your team, because there is great wealth when the community that you're gathering of like-minded people don't look the same, don't have the same backgrounds, careers, educations, all of those things. There's a richness there, and there's a wealth of knowledge, life experience. And then what's awesome is when you meet somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, you're like a corporate executive. I'm the stay-at-home mom. I don't really have like the same story as you, but I can introduce you to this gal on my team, because this gal on my team is like you. And she said yes, working full time. And so I'd love to connect you guys up, and you can just hear her story. You can use, that variance in your business to really help continue to grow and diversify that. So, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, but just to be intentional about growing your warm market, growing your cold market, diversifying your markets, being intentional, being that business owner so that you really can have more than enough people to be reaching out to, and having the understanding and the belief, the truth that the only thing that keeps us from not having the calendar that we want is ourselves. That's all it is, you guys. It's just all it is. There's a video I have on the Facebook page about flipping over rocks. If the rocks you flipped over so far, it's the 10th of the month, haven't yielded the amount of parties or 20-minute overviews that you want, and you're not getting a response just through sending out messages on your phone or your computer, then tomorrow morning you just have to go out. Tomorrow you have to be a little bit more brave. At work, you have to have a little bit more courage, maybe with the more market that you've skipped over and you haven't yet asked, or people on that chicken list that you just are too intimidated to ask because they're too professional or too successful or make too much money. We've just never exhausted the network that we have. And so I really just want to encourage you guys with that, because it is absolutely worth it. And I got to spend some time with Lori Huffman. We drove to Arkansas and back, and she was just sharing with me that she was working with her little girl because she wanted to apply or try out for a play, and her daughter's just super nervous and super shy, and she just said, it's going to take 30 seconds of courage to do your audition, and it's going to give you 2 months of fun. And I just love that, because I feel like that's so applicable in our business. Many times, you guys, it takes 30 seconds of courage to say something to the server at a restaurant, the barista at Starbucks, the bank teller. Those are other little things, like don't make like auto deposits on your phone. Like, go into the bank, go do things with people. Like, if everything in your life you're trying to automate and avoid human contact, it's just not going to help your business. Go interact, go meet with people. But when you just take those 30 seconds of courage and you just say things like, oh my gosh, you've just given me great customer service, and I don't know if you'd have any interest in like hearing 20 minutes about what I do, but you're exactly kind of who I love sharing this with, because you're super sweet. You gave great service. You seem really motivated. When you're willing to just take 30 seconds of courage, give somebody a compliment, and share what you have, the gift that you have to offer, it's really going to start opening up your world, and you'll realize that you'll never run out of people. You're going to never run out of people when you operate your business in that way. So I'm going to stop the recording.